Hello. Today I want to talk to you about a subject that I want to give you my viewpoints about it. It's something that we've all heard of before. We've probably all had some ideas about it. We've probably had some doubts about it, but I'm going to talk to you about it today. I'm going to talk to you today about ADHD, Attention Deficit Hyperactive Disorder. I'm going to first start by giving you the Wikipedia definition of it, which is it is the inability to gain control, to focus. It causes you to be overactive, overcompulsive, and it could be a combination of all things put together. That being said, with the ADHD, there was a lot of things going on about ADHD. It was said that ADHD was a myth. It was a fraud. It was saying that there was sayings that there was a way for doctors to get paid to keep bringing your child to come back to the doctor to try all these different medications because they're going to make sure they give you a medication that doesn't work and make you try for 4 months. You come back in 4 months to get another medication, and it goes on and on and on. And the big fraud was supposed to be that that's how they were getting their money. I'm going to argue that point because that's really not true. The thing is, every single person has a different chemical biology, so everybody is different. So a medication that may work for Johnny may not work for Sam. What works for Sam may not work for Susie. So sometimes you have to go through a series of medication to find out what medication is right for you. There's a doctor, very well known in Children's Department of Neuroscience. His name is Dr. Union. He's of Harvard. And he believes it is very important for all parents out there who have children, school-age children, and children who have eye hyperactivity, things going on, to know that it's important and vital to even look into it or research it. Even if you don't want to get your child tested, just research it, because it's a very complex cognitive thing with ADHD, and it's a lot of things that go along with it, and that's something that all parents should know. Research has shown that kids low in with omega-3, it shows that those kids are kids that are more prone for hyperactivity and failure to concentrate and things like that. I'm going to argue that. Now, part of that may be true, but I'm going to argue because of this right here. If it's all about omega-3 that causes your child to become hyperactive, if it's all about the omega-3, then how is it so possible that so many children have it? Because when your child is born, it seems like it would be something that'll let you know it has nothing to do with your vitamins and things like that, because when you're born, they can go ahead and supplement that and take care of it. That's why babies all have to take vitamins and things like that. So it would just lead me to believe that what I learned a long time ago was that it's a chemical imbalance. That's what I'm led to believe, because a chemical imbalance makes more sense to being a cause of ADHD as opposed to omega-3. And then there's so many doctors now that medicate your child for ADHD, and they tell you, oh, on your way home from the pharmacy, pick up a bottle of omega-3 fish oil tablets. So if that's the case, it seems like it'll help your child, but not that it's the cause of it. Another point I'd like to argue is that, like in 2002, there were many issues in the schools where parents were actually called and were told by the teachers and personnel at the school that their child needed to be medicated and that their child was ADHD. No, I'm going to argue that point. I do not agree with it, because if you're in the schools and you are a teacher, you are there to educate. You're not a medical professional, so you're not there to medicate. And I believe teaching is up to the educators and medicating is up to the medical physicians. And I think it's really biased to receive a phone call from someone other than a medical personnel to diagnose your child. They do not have the knowledge to diagnose the child, so I do not believe that is right. They were also told that if they denied or refused the medication and their child came back to school and they acted up in any kind of way, that they would call the police. Well, yes, I want to argue that, because if you know in your mind or your heart, or you feel like something's wrong with that child medically, you have to know that, because you wouldn't call and say, I think your child needs to be medicated. So if you know that and the child acted up, and you know that the child can't help what he or she is doing because it's a medical condition, why would you involve the police? So at that point, it'll make anyone feel like, well, at this point, I need to know that is my son a student, or is my son a label? It's not easy. So because of those incidents that happened back in 2002, there's a law called the Right Way Law, and this law states that the Individuals with Disabilities Act expressly forbids any school personnel for requiring a child to be medicated. They cannot do it. It's against the law, and parents need to be educated on that and know that as well. Another thing I would like to argue about is the too much sugar in the kids' diet, too much pop. The macaroni and cheese breaks down the sugar. All the things with yellow food diet, blue food diet, all those things causing ADHD. I really, really believe that, but it's not true. It doesn't cause ADHD, but it doesn't hurt to limit the amount of intake that the child will get, a child that has ADHD. Now, there have been studies to try to link sugar with the cause of ADHD, and it was stated that even through all the research and all the studies, there has not been a connection between sugar and the artificial sweeteners and hyperactivity. So that's probably good to know to a lot of parents out there that's watching right now. And then there's so many foods nowadays. If you go in the grocery store, so many foods nowadays have the red dye number 4, blue dye number 5, yellow dye 6, and orange dye 7. All the foods that you buy, everything has that in it, unless you just buy straight natural food. And so, but it's like I said, it's okay to limit the amount that your child takes, but that does not cause ADHD. In closing, I would like to say to you that we have spoke a lot about research and omega-3 and the vitamins and things that kids need to that you can limit in children's diet and everyday lifestyle to go ahead and supplement, the sugar intake to increase the hyperactivity. However, for some people, medication works the best, and for some people, natural things works the best. So it all depends on what you decide to do for you and your family. There are still many myths about ADHD. There are things that parents need to know. So they need to contact their schools, look up your parents' law, and the laws need to be put in place if you have a child that's ADHD. And teachers should educate, not medicate, and ADHD cannot be stopped with discipline. ADHD can only be stopped with medication and medical help. Thank you very much.